the only way they could make the Stanton deal work
Giancarlo Stanton
is you would have to include Jacoby Ellsbury in the deal. A lot of people are talking about, well, they have to give up some of their young players. I don't think you have to give up any young players because the Marlins' raison d'etre in this is we got to get rid of this salary. We just have to. So they're not going to sit there and go, we want Clint Frazier, we want Justice Sheffield, we want Florial, we want... No. Beggars can't be choosers, as your parents used to say. So, how would they get it done? Well, you'd have to include Gardner in the deal, and he makes, I believe, about $11 million a year, $12 million. Then you'd have to include Castro in the deal, and he makes $10 million. So all of a sudden, that's 23 you're taking off. And next year, Stanton only makes $25 million. And I think you'd also have to include Ellsbury, who makes about $24 million. So if the Yankees could include those three in a deal, all of a sudden, their payroll would go lower than it's expected to go. But I don't see the Marlins taking that, because the Marlins are trying to get rid of salary as well. But here's the argument the Yankees could make. Okay, we're taking $290 million from you of a commitment. We're giving you Gardner, who has 1 year left on his deal, Castro, who has 1 year left on his deal. So that's $22 million for 1 year. And Ellsbury, who has 3 years. So let's round it off. I'd say that the total commitment that the Marlins would be taking on would be about $85 million, when the Yankees would be taking on $290 million. So the Marlins, over the course of the contract, would save $210 million. Now, I don't want to get too wonky here where people are all glazed over, but there are some things to consider. I think the only way this deal works, or any kind of deal like this works, is you've got to rid yourself of Ellsbury, whose contract, as I predicted a couple of years ago, would be looked at as an albatross. And it's an albatross. He's not even going to start on this Yankee team. Aaron Hicks is your center fielder. They couldn't even get Ellsbury at bats in the ALCS. So he has a blanket no-trade clause. And here's where it gets very interesting and sexy. His agent is Scott Boras.
Okay.
In order for Ellsbury to be traded, he must agree to it. He has blanket no trade. Boras could be in his ear. You don't want to go to the Marlins. You don't want to do this. Don't waive your no trade clause. And you say, well, why would Boras be that concerned? He's still going to get his money. Here's why. If the Yankees get Stanton, and they have Judge, and they've got all these young kids coming up, and Hicks is still young, they're not going to be in the Bryce Harper market. If they don't get Stanton, they might be in the Bryce Harper market. They probably would be in 2018. And if they are, the price goes up. If you take the Yankees out of the equation on Harper, that's one big bidder that's out. So it doesn't behoove Boras to tell Ellsbury to waive his no-trade clause. Now, the only way I think that Ellsbury would waive his no-trade clause, because the Yankees are probably going to tell him, you have no future here. None. Zero. We're not going to play you. You're going to be on the bench. The Marlins would take him and say, listen, accept the trade so we can get rid of Stanton. We'll make you a free agent. We'll release you.
Just so they can get the deal done, get the money.
Just so they could get the deal done. And then Ellsbury could sign wherever he wants. Now, one of the landing spots I thought that Ellsbury would agree to, because he's from Oregon, I thought he'd go to the Marlins, or the Mariners. That's gone now because they got D. Gordon yesterday. So everything is kind of intertwined. I think the key to this deal would be moving Ellsbury's contract because, again, number one, job one for the Yankees, they're getting under 197. And although it's sexy to think of Stanton and Judge, Yankees have a really good team without Stanton. Stanton would kind of border on overkill. And another thing, you're going to go and invest now in a 28-year-old guy who has 10 years left on his contract. We see what happens with people in a sport without PEDs. 38 is 38. You're not going to be the same guy. And that's when he's owed the most money.
I'm 38. I'm crushing it.
Yeah, you're not going to be the same guy. You're not the same guy you were when you were young.
Thank you.
But I just think it's very, very interesting. I think there's a lot of sexy aspects to it. A lot of Yankee fans dream about stuff, but they're thinking old Yankees. They're not thinking business-like. We do things the right way. We grow players, and we don't make dumb deals. I don't think the Yankees would ever get involved with a 10-year deal, except for a mega talent like, I think, Bryce Harper.